cameraman. It's Matt here, obviously. I hope you're well. I was just putting my hedge laying gear away, and I thought I'll just do a quick run through for you on the sort of tools and equipment we use, and sort of some of the more interesting features. Sorry about this, cameraman. You may not find this entirely edifying. Anyway, I've arranged the tools in a way that this is what I call the cutting table, and this is the sawing and thumping table. So I'll come on to that in a minute. So I'll start off with the cutting table, and probably the first, as you approach a hedge, the first tool you'll probably get hands on is this. It's a slasher, and I actually bought this at the last event for 15 quid from a guy who was 87, who just happened to have it in the back of his wagon and got talking to me about it. So I'm very pleased with it. Needs a bit of sharpening. It's not got a bad edge on it, but I'd like it sharper than that. And looking at it, I reckon this is about circa 1978, actually, Spear and Jackson. And you've obviously got, before you get to a hedge, you've quite often got a lot of undergrowth that you need to clear. So this is the tool for it. So I'm pleased with that. Once you get a bit nearer, I use this hand tool, because what you spend a lot of time doing right next to the hedge is kneeling down. And the last thing you want, quite often you'll get suckers growing away from the hedge, and you need to cut those really down to ground level, otherwise you'll be kneeling on things that are about that high and damage your knees. Obviously a pair of sort of hedge trimmers. I think these are circa Abingworth Hall, you might recognise them. And I'm quite pleased with these as well. They're a pair of loppers. They're made by Fiskars, but the good thing about them is that they're extendable, and quite often you'll work at a hedge which is that sort of height. So, and these are as sharp as Hades, these are. So I use those a lot. We come on to the sort of traditional bill hook. This is the one that you bought one and I bought one in Hand Cross in 2000, and it was lying in the shed for about 10 years. So I've done a bit of work on this, got the flappy disc on it, and it's okay. The edge is okay. It's taken a bit of a bashing last weekend. The way we tell is we run the blade over our thumbnail, and actually it is just taking a bit of the nail off, so that's not bad. The other tool that I use most is, this is a Stubai side axe. It weighs 900 grams, and it's a side axe in that it's bent one way. I don't know if you can see, you may not be able to. Very much meant for right-handed operators. I tend to use it held at the top of the axe like that. And I use this a lot because it's pretty sharp and it's got a bit of weight behind it. So I use that. These are the two tools that I use a lot of when I'm actually what they call pleaching. So I'm very pleased with this. As a side axe, you only sharpen one side. So you only sharpen this side. The other side is dead flat. You might just take the edge off it a bit, but this is the one you do the work on. So that's a useful tool. This is the one that Laura bought me for Christmas. It's an Elwell, and it's 2.5 pounds, and we think that it was issued to the paratroopers just after the war, because as you can imagine, getting a tap on the back of the head with one of these isn't going to do you a lot of good. So quite a useful tool, nice sort of wide blade, and I've managed to get this up to be pretty sharp as well. What I might do on this is get a slightly different handle, because it's a bit narrow here, so as I'm hitting stems it does have a tendency to twist, which is what you don't want at all. This is a very cheap axe which I use if I root pleaching, which is where you cut the roots halfway through and trim through, so it doesn't matter if I knacker the blade on that. Always take a pair of wire cutters with me, secateurs, two knives. Very pleased with this. This is a Williams Self lopping axe, and I've looked into the provenance of this, and this probably dates back to the mid to late Victorian era. They were from Seal in Kent, which is near Deal, and you can look them up on the internet. The steel on these axes is just better and more able to take an edge than the modern axe. So I use this when I'm cutting stems. If I come over here, this is probably thicker than I would actually take out, but not much smaller than that. So fairly large stems. The thing, it doesn't really matter about the diameter. The limiting factor is how much you can safely lay down yourself. And it takes about 3 blokes to lay this down, because the last thing you want to do is let the stem fall in an uncontrolled manner, because it'll just kick up and break the pleature off, which is the cardinal sin. So that's the cutting table, a couple of sharpening devices. That's a £6 puck stone. It's got a coarse side and a fine side, and a canoe stone. The real guns got one of these. Instead of £6, it's about 60 quid, but I haven't graduated onto that yet. We move on to the cutting table. You'll be familiar with this collapsible silky saw, which you sent me about 15 years ago, maybe longer. I keep that as reserve. The main one I use is again another silky saw. This one's lost its edge a bit, and I might have to get a blade, but when it was sharp, absolutely unbelievably good. I will just give you a little demo of how I wear it in the field, if the cameraman can control herself. I actually put it on a belt like this, and this little gizmo here is I made, and I'm able to carry my bill hook, and this is how you hold it, like that, around with me all the time. So if I just need to pick it up and do something, I've got it there. I'm quite pleased with that. I watched what other people have done. So we're on to the cutting table. This is, as I say, my main cutting tool. I use a small bow saw quite a lot as well. Cheap as chips. This was £4, so pleased with that. If I've got something a bit more serious, and I use that. This is the thumping part of the table. This is my beadle, which I think I've sent you images of before. What I tend to do with this is I use this to measure out the stakes, because the stakes have to be 18 inches apart, and the distance from there to there is 18 inches. So I set them out, and I just give them a little tap with this, and once I put the binders on, I get the big guns out, and this is a fencing ball. I think it weighs about 12 pounds, and this really does hit them home, because you do have to hit the stakes probably about a foot into the ground, 18 inches, so quite a way. Some of the times the ground's quite hard. So that's the basic kit. Obviously not forgetting, over there is what I call my sort of accessories and protection. Main bit of protection I do wear a lot of are these. These apparently brighten up the... oh, they do. Cloudy today, sunny once I put these on, so fantastic. I use this quite a lot, the rake. One of the reasons I use it a lot is it's marked with, this is the 3'6" and 4 foot, that's the height of the top of the binders. But we're always clearing up at the end with a rake like this. I have a fork and spade sometimes to do root pleaching. I'll have to take some photos of that, but this is quite sharp again and can cut through roots. Sometimes that's the only option. And just last but not least, what I call the protection area. A pair of wax leggings, absolutely essential. A pair of decent leather gauntlet gloves. Again, I use a lot. one thing you're not allowed to do, the cardinal sin, I'll just show you, is pick up a swinging tool with a glove on, because you've got no control of it and it could fly off, and has been known to fly off. So never do that. And I've got various other gloves here. In case it rains, I've got a poncho, which is quite useful, and a pair of over trousers. But I've been out about 10 times this year, and it's only rained once, so that's good. So that's about my kit. Over there is a wheelbarrow, and which I actually get in the back of the Avensis somehow, and I carry this all this lot to me to my section of hedge, which is called a cant, invariably I have to park my Avensis on a bit of tarmac somewhere, so I have to walk quite a distance, whereas all the other guys have great big grunty four-wheel drive things. So I hope that gives you an idea of the sort of tools and equipment we use, and I hope you find it interesting. Bye for now.